Well, like generally speaking, on average, what does like a staffing recruiter make versus like an in-house recruiter, maybe at like a bigger tech company, and then doing more. Pretty much, you're doing. I guess you're doing business to business.
Yeah. Like my Infinite, I can't lie to you. Like I'll you know, I'll send a contract with a proposal however I feel like it'll make sense for that company, right? Like, it might be a retainer, it might be contingent, it might be a 10% fee, it might be a 15% fee. It might be, you know, upfront kickoff fee plus this on the back end. It kind of, I try to assess each client and figure out one, how much budget I think they have to kind of put in recruiting efforts, and then two, what's sort of going to differentiate me from another agency or another recruiter that might be pitching the same type of services. And so as long as I feel like this company can make good on the contract terms and I'm going to get some money out of it, then we'll figure it out. But when it comes to compensation, man, it depends on the company and how much they value their recruiting team. But people, I think people underestimate how much money a good recruiter can make. Like I see tech recruiters that easily making like $300K salary. I mean, that's doctor lawyer money. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think people really understand and to make that kind of money and you just on LinkedIn kind of having conversations with people all day, like to me, like that's crazy. But I've always known the value of this work because I've seen the contracts that companies have executed with agencies to be like, we're gonna pay you $200,000 to make these 3 placements and something like that. And then me as an in-house recruiter seeing it, I was like, damn. It's like they not doing nothing different than what I'm doing. And so that's what's always been stuck in my head. It's like if I can just, build up the courage to jump out there on my own, like I can be the one sending these contracts saying like, I'm gonna find you this person and you're gonna pay me this amount, and they'll pay it because I'm sitting here watching them do it. Or better yet, I'll say I'll do it for $10,000 less. And right, like I don't have this big company, so I don't have all that overhead. So shoot, like I'm still gonna come off, coming up off of it. So that's kind of always been my mindset, and that's the practice that I still have now. It's just like, like a company that'll charge you, a 25% fee. I can charge you a 15% fee, and that 15%, is going to hit me, much better and be a lot more beneficial than a company doing 25%. They got to split that across, a team, AEs, office space, and benefits and pay. You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. It's like I put all that in my pocket. Yeah, like I can take that.
What about? So, do you plan on getting any staff this year?
I don't know, man. I actually had somebody that worked under me for contract probably like 8 months for last year. And it was dope. So basically my client was saying like, hey, we need to ramp up. Like how much more can you take on? And really I've always tried I gotta leave myself a little bit of buffer. So usually the most hours I build for a client is like maybe like 30 hours a week, because if I ever try to make that agreement that I'm gonna work for you for 40 hours, like that's a full-time job. So I need to be able to make sure that the expectation is like I'm still a consultant. Like once I do a 40-hour contract, like they're gonna think I work for them and I should be on for them, all times of the day. Like I need to be able, because at any point in time, if they reach out to me, if they Slack me, if they email, and it take me a little time to respond, I'm like, yeah, like I work for you from these hours to these hours today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I need to be able to kind of build in sort of that sort of back door where I can always go do my own thing and they know that I have other things going on. But I think I made like I was making like maybe like an extra $2K, $2,500 a month off the contract I had. So I'm paying him out of my payroll and then I'm billing the client. But I can't lie. Like if I do that again, I need to set up my money a little bit different. Just being honest, like that was my first go at it, and so like I'm paying him every 2 weeks like clockwork. Whereas whereas like I'm getting paid from the client, you know, they have like a
Every
net
90 days.
right. They have
Yeah,
a
90.
net 30. And so like I'm burning through cash, like paying him, waiting on my return. And I was like, whoo, yeah. So I was like, damn, boy. I was like, it's time to pay you again. Like,
Hold on now. I'm gonna get it to you.
it's like, dang. Well, I mean, it started out with and then I had to understand, you know, he got a family, and so like, cause I started out, I was like, hey, like let's just see how this works. And I think I started out like maybe like 20, 25 hours a week with him. And then like he was pushing me every week, like, hey man, I really need to get to 40. I really need to get to 40. Cause he's always had like a full-time job. And so like he was thankful that I found him and he was getting some income, but like I say, he had a whole family to support. So I understood.
Yeah.
So I went to the client basically being like, hey, like I'm gonna work 25 hours a week max. You know, my guy wants to up his to 40. Is y'all cool with that? And then they signed off on it. And so like, so I'm paying him, you know, a 80K. I mean, not 80K, but like a 80-hour week paycheck out of my bank account, and then got to get mine on the back end from them. And so like it just showed me how to manage my money better. And I was like, yeah, like I kind of jumped into this thing. I knew it was gonna be, you know, like a stress test, but like you don't really know until like you get in it. And so like I was able to kind of like once I was doing it for about 3 months, like I started kind of being able to, when I did get paid from the client, like set that money aside because I know this needs to be like my payroll fund for him. But they converted him to a full-time employee. So we've kind of switched gears, which is why I love what I do. Like you get to be so flexible.
Right.
So he's the talent manager now at the startup. And I kind of support him more from a sourcing standpoint. So like I'm still getting my money with less responsibility because I don't have to do all the reporting. I don't have to like have the meetings with the founders and kind of all that kind of stuff. And so I've been able to kind of take a step back. My rate hasn't changed, so I'm still billing them, you know, my normal rate. But now I get to go out and kind of find other opportunities like that to kind of help them build up again. So it's kind of like a rinse and repeat type of business model.
Yeah.
So it's really not designed to last forever. I've actually been with that client for like 2 years now. And so this year, my plan is like, all right, like how do I find a new client that I can run up my rate on? Because now I have 2 years that I've done this, that I've scaled recruiting at another startup. Like, let me do that for you. And then this time, you know, throw a little bit more on there.
Dope, man.